uh, I'd say it is because I mean you see every character that you want. You got each character. For instance, George and who Dan Ross plays George.
Yo.
You, it is hard because I mean I want him to do his right thing. I want every other character, and how I've wrote this story, how I've written the story, you want it to come out just as exactly how you've written it. And I mean, there's me playing Alfie, which sometimes I think I weren't. I can't have my mind in the role properly because I wish that I was doing one or the other. I sometimes wish I'd only done one role. But it's great being on both ends, yeah, really.
Yeah, you done good to take on 2 roles.
Yeah, I suppose I see everything, so it's a good achievement, really, because I mean, I've got to write the story and be on that side, and then I can be with the cast as well. Yeah.
And you got to make sure we're portraying like your story to how you want it.
Yeah.
Well, my involvement in it, I do pop up in the episode. I can't really say when or give anything away. It's not. I'm not as main as in any of the other episodes, but it was still good. Like I get along with James and Callum. We have a laugh. So working behind camera, it was more just sort of. It was interesting, but it was good. It was more sort of chilling.
I'd definitely say it was the best story I've written. Definitely. I mean, I did completely cut the comedy out. There might be a bit of dark humour and like bits, but I mean, there was no George and Alfie humour. Their banter that they normally have. I did completely cut the old template out. I didn't want the same old. They're getting ready to go to a party, and then you just see how it goes from there. I wanted basically the after party. Something's gone wrong here, and they've got to deal with it. So it's got a much darker tone, and I suppose it might not be as funny, and people might not like it as much, but I wanted to see what was the start of the noughties. I mean, nothing's more shocking than how they got into a foster house, surely.
Yeah, but it's good to have something different for the audience. Like, it's not all just comedy partying. Like, fair enough, there is a party in it, but it's straight away out of the way, and then it's boom, straight in with all the seriousness. In my opinion, I do like the serious, but I prefer acting with the comedy side of things. In my opinion, I'd say no. No offence, like it's a great. I think the story's great, everything, but I prefer like the jokey side of it. Like with Brad, the characters of Brad and Leon, I enjoyed it more with that. I don't know if it was because I was more of a main part.
Well, I had the whole cast, you know. I mean, there's George
limited,
is the boundary. He's the whole foundation of the series, and he still had he still has a vital role in this N0ughties, but I mean, it was very different, wasn't it? I mean,
no, it was much different, but I am a big part in this.
Yeah.
And from where I leave off, there's a lot of potential for this to go further.
Yeah. Be honest, I mean, I loved the cast. Everyone that I got before was great. There is a few characters I wish that could have been in it, but I mean, they wouldn't have fit particularly. I mean, we've got Sam. Sam's a new boy. I mean, he's a bit of a question mark. He's kind of like George in the sense that he's Alfie's right-hand man. They are best pals, but you don't know too much about this one. He just... You got to wait and see for him, but you don't really know. He seems loyal to Alfie, but you got to really watch it and find out. I do miss the whole cast, the whole N0ughties gang, the foster kids, but this is very different. We've got the main villain, Jay, he's played by N0ughties. He's really good. He's good. Yeah.
He was blinding.
Yeah, he's good. He plays one of the main roles for this episode, and he's the main sort of the foundation of this episode. And see where it takes off and see what happens to the boys.
I don't really think you can end it yet. I think there's after. Well, usually say after this episode, there's so much that can be done after. It's difficult to say how to end it because anything could happen now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
as cheesy as it sounds, anything could happen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Basically, there is a story to tell for every one of the kids. I mean, George could have a spin-off for as far as I'm concerned. I could write a series just for George. He's the most. I mean, there's so much story to tell on him. I mean, with his, if you've seen his own story, the George's past,
Yeah.
there's so much you can do with just that, and we could do a lot more. Um, George is the, as I said before, the foundation. He is like not having, I mean, Rocky in a Rocky film. It's like having, yeah, like taking Arnold Schwarzenegger out of the series. It was, first of all, I didn't like the idea. I was going to cut it. I thought there was no way with where Dan was at the time, and I thought I've got to get him in it. I mean, it's not an episode without him. I've got to get him in it, and it just seemed right that he was in it. So
lucky I come back from uni.
yeah, and he made the trip, and he made it.
I did. I done.
Made it much better. That last bit, which you'll see him in, he makes a cameo, and it is great. It's a great cameo.
It was fun. Yeah, I'm such an horrible. No, I would say, honestly, I am nothing like him, at all. Would you? You know me for ages. What would you say?
I tried to purposely get someone not like the character. I got Dan, and I know him as a best mate, and he's nothing like him. He's not like George, but he plays it great. And honestly, people have said great things, and he's one of the best in the show because of that.
I don't know, my acting in the first one was a bit leave it. But no,
Yeah.
I don't. There was some alright bits. I was happy with some of the bits.
Loosely, yeah. I mean, everything that you see in the episode is heightened for your entertainment. I mean, if they just filmed me and Dan doing a normal, like, sort of after work or after college thing, they'd be bored. I mean, it's got.
That boring.
No, but I mean, just seeing what we'd normally do when we get in. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to make it a little bit interesting. The banter they chuck around. We have. There's sometimes when I think we've probably done more mental things in the gang. To be honest, I mean, but there is things that I've got from old groups of friends, and there's every group member is sort of based on a friend of mine or someone I've met, and well, I've done things similar. Yes, like I mean,
And I met George, the person it was based on today, walking past me with a dog.
yeah. George is based on somebody.
He looks a lot younger than me.
That's saying something.
I know, that is. That is. No, I'm a lot more chilled nowadays. After I was at uni, I was mental and stuff, but I think now I'm sort of calming down. But we have had some, we have had some mental times, and there's been times where I wouldn't say naughty, but I've been a bit mental.
I mean, I'd probably say you was one of the most sort of, unlike George's sense, but I mean, you're always up for a, the laugh of the group.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, me and Dan were seen as, I don't know, you could say we was like George and Alfie in the sense of not our characteristics as such, but how they would go out and, like, as in the series. Presumably the end. I mean, this may be the end of the series, but this is technically the start. So, I mean, although this may be the end of the series as there might not be any more episodes being made, I'm going to say it leaves it open for a sequel to another one to be made. There is a lot more story, as I said, to be done. Maybe with George again, and maybe with old cast members from the first and second episodes. I'd say just wait and see. There may be a spin-off to look forward to. There is definitely a couple of shockers, so definitely watch it.
No, it's definitely not the end of George. He'll be back, mate. He'll be tearing people's heads off. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, for me, I'd like to see a different side of George. I mean, you've seen that sensitive side of him from George's past, where he's actually quite a broken lad. Like, he's not strong as he comes across. He's quite broken up. That's why he puts up this defence. And I'd like to see him actually the nice side of George, the decent side, which you haven't seen yet, and he has. Make sure you watch the new episode, alright?
Coming at you, block.
My character to Alfie is like he's like right hand man sort of. So it's like a story before Alfie was sort of involved with the N0ughties, as you've seen in the previous episodes, like episode 1, episode 2. And in this, you sort of like see how Alfie's friendship was, you know, quite, you know, like sharp with Sam. You know, they sort of like were like the sort of relationship between George and Alfie. But this was like before, you know, he knew George, you know, so you do see a lot of, you know, like he's looking after him a lot in this, and you know how he, you know, sort of like takes care of him at the same time, sort of. Well, my first thought was that I was really excited for the opportunity to be in N0ughties. I mean, after watching like George's prequel in episode 1 and 2, I thought, you know, it was fantastic. So for me to be in it was, you know, a great opportunity. And I wanted to say yes, and I did, you know, and I got a chance to become Sam. So it was a great, you know, chance, and it's a great cast to be involved with. Yeah, definitely. I will come back and do a sequel because I really enjoy playing Sam's role in this. He's a very, you know, interesting character, and there's a lot more that you don't know about him in this episode that you're going to be seeing soon that's coming out. And I think with Sam, sort of, if he was involved with any of like future sort of episodes, I think he would open so many more doors to like other characters like George, possibly, and you know, a lot more with Alfie as well, which I think could be really interesting for the show. I'd say, yeah, I think it was really brilliant, like a good story. I think definitely a good story. It focused more on sort of like Alfie's character as well as my own that I play. And you sort of found out more about Alfie, where he comes from. But I think a lot of people will enjoy more of the comedy from previous episodes. But I really like dark dramas, you know, so I think this really suited me well. But I think it's definitely the best that's come out of it, yeah.
Yeah, there was obviously a lot of pressure taking over because what Pat and Jess did was really, really good, and it was obviously a big thing, and then people were expecting it to be better this time, when that's quite hard to live up to with Pat and Jess's work. I mean, it had a lot of potential to it, and obviously the storyline with all the twists and everything was brilliant. Like, very smart of the writer, obviously. But what I brought differently to it, I'd say there's more of a, I don't know, with the dark scenes, I knew what kind of music to put there and what vibe to create with the shots. A lot of it was supposed to be filmed at night, but we'd have windows and things everywhere, so you could see it was bright outside. But unless you really thought into the storyline, you wouldn't really notice it if you was just a casual viewer. Yeah. Obviously, as I said before, with Pat and Jess's work, what they've done now, they've obviously gone up to university to do this full time, kind of, and this is just kind of my other subject which I really work on. So it was kind of hard to try and get on their level, but yeah, I work well with Bo. I think we have the same ideas, and when things click, they work really well. Yeah, there's definitely more to it. We're doing a prequel. We can obviously do further after N0ughties, the second episode, and carry on from there. But I don't know where it'd go. You could probably follow some of the other characters and see where that leads. And would I be the director? I'm going off to uni, so it'd be quite hard, but I'd still definitely give it a go.